Chapter 1, the beginning. These chapters all have a quote at the beginning, which some of these are pretty interesting. This one's from Albert Einstein. The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. You can think about that one for a while. So this chapter is going to talk about matter, measurement, and problem solving. So they pose this question: what do you think is the most important idea in all of human knowledge? And let's limit ourselves to more science rather than philosophy. It's just and that's a big question. I actually recently listened to a whole podcast about this, and lots of people had lots of different ideas. But if we limit ourselves to just scientific answers, it would probably be this statement: the properties of matter are determined by the properties of molecules and atoms. So the atoms and molecules, the smallest building blocks of matter, affect the properties of the whole piece of matter. And by understanding that gives us a lot of control over matter, and we can alter matter so that it behaves as we want. So what are atoms and molecules? And just a side note here, you see there's this little 1.1. This is the beginning of section 1.1 in your textbook. I make a separate video for each section because nobody wants to go listen to all of this again, right? You probably just want to jump to a certain part. So this video will be for section 1.1. So what are atoms? Atoms are like the building blocks of nature. They are extremely tiny particles. They're the fundamental pieces of matter. Now, it's actually unusual for free atoms to be present. Most atoms are stuck to other atoms in what are called molecules. So here we have an illustration of a water molecule, which is one oxygen atom and two hydrogen atoms, and they're always stuck together in this particular way, specific geometrical shape, and that's a molecule. So a molecule is a collection of atoms, sort of like a family is people that are connected to each other, and the atoms would be like the people. So the properties of the water molecule determine the properties of water. And if you change the molecule a little bit, then you change the properties of the substance. So here again is that water molecule. Here is hydrogen peroxide. Pretty similar. The difference is this one has two oxygen atoms, and this only has one. Well, that shouldn't make much of a difference. Well, it makes a big, big difference. So, water is necessary for life, right? Hydrogen peroxide, you may be familiar with it as, using it to clean a wound or getting a blood stain out of a shirt, hopefully not because you killed anybody. But the hydrogen peroxide you buy at the drugstore is a 3% solution. It's mostly water. What is 100% hydrogen peroxide like? It can dissolve paper. Would you want to be drinking that? Absolutely not. So changing the molecule a little bit has a big effect on the properties of the substance itself. So if we want to understand matter around us, if we want to be able to make new materials, plastics that are biodegradable, things like that, we need to be able to understand what the molecules are doing. And so chemistry is the science that seeks to understand the behavior of matter by studying the behavior of atoms and molecules.